welcome back to my channel. Thanks for the support so far. Please let's not stop liking, commenting on my videos. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching us how to cut corsets with two different methods, two simple methods, one with brack up and the other without brack up. So please let's watch till the end and learn. Thank you. So this is the first one with our brack up. You just take your half length measurement. My client is 15 because the petite size I'm cutting for, so 15 for your half length. Roll it out, then take your sewing allowance for joining to the other half cut. And so the next thing we're going to do is take our neckline measurement because it's the petite size, so I'm just using 3, then 7 for our shoulder. That's our shoulder measurement. 14 divided by 2, that's 7. So 1 inch for your shoulder slanting. Then you slant it from your shoulder to your neckline. Next thing to do is take your shoulder to your under bust. My client is 12. Then you roll it out. The next thing, you measure your shoulder to your bust point, your bust line, we also known as chest line, which is 8. Bust line or chest line. Then you can just label it waist, under bust, and chest line, just for the sake of not mixing them up. Chest line. Then you take your armhole measurement. I just took the same 7 I took for the shoulder, so it can be equal. So you roll it down. So this point now, it's for the corset. That middle part that is always showing like 1 inch, you can take 1, you can take 0.75, but I'm using 0.75 because I don't want the space to be too big. I like it when it's small, but it depends on what you want to use. So I just took 0.75. Then you place your cup. I would advise to use this oval shaped cup. The circle ones, they're always summer, but if you want to, but I just like using this oval shape. Then you just place it on your chest line like this. From that point you marked, trace it, then take your tape rule, measure it from the shoulder down to under bust. If it is 12 like you took for your under bust, then it is fine. But if it's not up to 12, or if it is more than 12, you shift it back. I'm using 12 because 12 is the measurement of my client's under bust. If it is more than 12, like let's say 15, you have to take it back to 12, then measure again and confirm your measurement. So if it is accurate, then just use your marker to trace the brack up like this. From that point you measure, from that 0.5, trace it under to the other part of the cup. I hope this is explanatory enough. So you take your measurement, your bust measurement, 32 divided by 4, that's 8. So I marked my 8 plus my 1.5 inch sewing allowance. You can use 2 inches, it's fine. 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Then my waist measurement, which is 6, 24 divided by 4, 6, plus my 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Then you connect. It is this simple. You can just slant that part if you want, but it's fine to just leave it like that. That is because I'm not using the yoke, the upper part, so you can just leave it like that. I'm just trying to trace it for tracing sake, but I won't be using the yoke. It's like a tube corset. But if you want to use the yoke, maybe you want to use net or something, then fine, you can do all this tracing, cutting your neckline and all that. But I'm not using the neckline, I'm not using anything. It's just a tube corset. So now to trace this part, when you want to cut out, you should not cut out on that line. You're going to take you should not cut out on the line. You should just take it in like this. because you need the allowance while sewing, so it's not going to affect your measurements and all. So just trace it like this, because the cup has its own sewing allowance. Just here round, so you take your own in too. So next thing to do is just to take your darts, just in case you're using boning or all that, then you rule it. And we are done. Trace it out, and if you want to add your neckline, you're not using a tube like this, then just measure your neckline, cut it out. That's all. So this is what it looks like after cutting out. Next thing to do is to cut out the back, your zip allowance, then just put it on top, the front piece. Trace it out. That's the side measurement, because they have to be equal. Then you can make this part down to make it slant, or however, I'm just making this one straight. Then your darts at the back, cut it out the same way. Notch your zip allowance. Then that's all for the back. You can label it to the side back and the center back. After tracing out the front on the back part, then you are going to divide this, our darts and the middle part. In case you are using boning, this is the part you are going to add your boning to. So just divide it. Okay, so for the second one, the beginning is just the same way with the first one. Our vertical measurements, the shoulder to half length, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to chest line. Then we do our slanting, our shoulder slanting to the neckline. Then I'm just joining everything together before I start our neckline. Then join the slanting, armhole measurements. Then you label it, your waist, under bust, chest line. So now we're going to get our neckline. Measure from our shoulder down by 7 inches. Then just roll it out and label it neckline. Next thing to do is to measure your dart. Mine is 3.5. So you just dot it down from your neckline down to your waist. The next thing to do is to measure your chest line to your under bust. Mine is 4. So just dot the 4 round like this. Just dot like a circle from the dart of your chest line round 4 inches. So my camera went off while I was recording this and I did not know. I just have to explain. What I did here was after dotting the 4 inches round, then you come down to your waistline and measure 1 inch on both sides from that dart. 1 inch at the left, 1 at the right. Then come to your under bust, 1 inch at the left and at the right. Then roll it together. Then to be like 3 lines. Then come to your neckline. That same dart, measure 1 inch at the left, 1 inch at the right. Then you take from your chest line, that same dart line, measure 1 inch down. Then use your curve roller to curve it like this to the edge of that 1 inch, to the edge of the other 1 inch. Then same thing to measure your neckline, curve it to the edge and to the edge. It's that simple. That's all. So the next thing, from your chest line, you come up by 1.5. I don't want to be too exposing, so 1.5. Then you come in by 0.75. I don't like it to be too big, so 0. You can take it to 1. That's fine, because when you sew the left and the right, when you sew the cup, it's going to reduce back to 0.5. So just take 0.75. Then you roll it together. The next thing to do is take your curve and then curve from that 1 inch point. Ignore the dots. The dot was just for illustration. Curve from that 1 inch to this 0.75 we just marked like this. Just connect them together. This is for the first side of the cup. Ignore the dotted lines. Then the next thing to do is to take your horizontal measurements. My bust is 8 inches. take your 8 inches, and at the side of the breast, the side is fuller than the other side. So from here we're just going to take 0.5 at this side, 0.5. So you connect from that other 1 inch, connect the 0.5 you added, because this side of the breast is fuller than the other side, just like this. So then you connect this our dart to the 0.75 like this. The other side, so use your curve ruler to connect from the dart to the 0.5 like this. So now we just take our measurements, our waist, under bust, and bust measurements. So our waist is 6 inches plus the 1 inch allowance you took at both sides, that's 2 inches. Because we borrowed the 2 inches there, we have to replace it back. If you don't replace it back, when you're sewing, you're going to have issues. So replace your 2 inches you took from there, replace it back, plus your 1.5 allowance for sewing, you take it also. So your waist, your 2 inches that you borrowed, then your 1.5. On the under bust, same thing. Your under bust, the 2 inches you borrowed, then your 1.5. On the chest, you do the same thing. Your 8 inches measurement taken already. Then this place is just 1. You measure it, you return your 1 back, then your 1.5 back is 1 inch there. You replace it back, then your 1.5. Then you just roll out. Then now I'm going to cut it out.